Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well and I hope you are keeping safe and sound. So here I am again in the second video after the first one that I posted last week. So as you know, the first video was an introduction to the course. I introduced the different topics we'll be dealing with in this semester as far as the grammar course is concerned. And also I made a short introduction to parts of speech. I thought it's very important to have an idea about parts of speech at the beginning of the course, because this will help you understand the topics coming up in the sessions to come, okay? So I hope that after watching the video, you now differentiate between an adjective, an adverb, a preposition, an interjection, a noun, etc. It's very important, okay? All right, now let's get started. Today I'll talk about articles. Now, as you know, in the English language, we have two types of articles. We have the definite article the or the, and the indefinite articles a and n, right? Now, both of these articles are used with nouns, okay? A and n and the, we use them with nouns. Now, when do we use a and n? A and n, when we use them with a certain noun, it means that that noun we are talking about is unidentified. I mean, that noun is not specific to me, or I have no idea about it. Let me explain this further. When you say, for example, there is a car honking in the street. There is a car honking in the street. So here I said there is a car, a car. Why a car? Because this car is unknown to me, right? I don't know which car. I don't know the owner of the car. I have no specific information about the car. So it is just a certain car, okay? A certain car honking in the street. Another example here, a man is speaking loudly in the street. So I said a man, a certain man. Why? Because I have no idea about the man, okay? I don't know his name. I don't know where he comes from. So just a certain man, okay? There is an end to every beginning. There is an end to every beginning. What kind of end? I don't know, okay? Maybe a happy end, maybe a sad end, maybe a tragic end, maybe a dramatic end. So I don't know exactly. So that's why I said when we use a and n with a noun, the noun that we are referring to is unidentified to us as speakers, okay? Now, what is the difference between a and n, okay? What is the difference in use, okay? When do we use a and n, or in what cases? So a and n, of course, they mean the same thing. When I say they mean the same thing, I mean both of them mean one. When I say a man, it means one man. When I say a car, it means one car. When I say an orange, it means one orange. So both of them mean one, okay? That's why we must use them only with singular countable nouns, okay? We should never use them with singular uncountable nouns or with plural nouns. So when do we use a and when do we use n? A is used before a word that starts with a consonant sound. I repeat, a is used with a word that starts with a consonant sound. I highlight the word sound here because what matters is not the letter of the word, but the sound or how we pronounce it, okay? Let me give you examples. A book, a book. So book here is a singular countable noun and it starts with a consonant sound, which is not B, but B. The sound is B, but the letter is B, okay? And there is a difference, okay? I'll show you why this matters a lot. A car, K is a consonant sound, that's why we use A. A dog, D is a consonant sound, that's why we use A. A frog, F or F is a consonant sound, That's why we use a, etc. A lemon, a track. Now, the opposite is n, okay? N, we use it when a word starts with a vowel sound. For example, an apple, an egg, an insect, an orange, an umbrella, an actor. So all of these words start with a vowel sound. That's why we have n before them. All right, now let's come to the idea of we need to differentiate between a letter and its sound, okay? So here, the sound of the letter is important. Look at these examples here. A house, so here H is pronounced, okay? A house, that's why we used A, but in this word, an hour, H is not pronounced. It is silent, as we say, right? Now in this case, we should use N, an hour. Why? Because H is is silent, okay? It's not pronounced. So that's why I said we need to focus on the first sound of the word, not the first letter, okay? And the same thing applies to this other example here, an ankle, an ankle. U is pronounced as a vowel sound here, an ankle. That's why we use N. But in a university, it's pronounced as a consonant sound. That's why we use A, okay? Now this applies to all words after A or N, whether they are adjectives, adverbs, or whatever. Let's have a look at this example. A cold day, a cold day. K in cold is a consonant, and cold here is an adjective. A very crazy person. Very is an adverb. Very is an adverb of affirmation. It starts with V, and V is a consonant sound. That's why we use A. So here, what determines the use of A is, of course, the day and the person, because they are singular countable nouns. But sometimes we can have other modifying words in between the noun and the article, like very crazy here and cold here. So in this case, if you have words between the noun and the article, you try to look at the word that comes immediately after the article, not the noun, okay? That word, whether it is an adjective or an adverb, is the one which will determine whether you are going to use A or N, okay? An easy lesson, an easy lesson. So here, if I have just lesson, I will say a lesson. But because I have an easy lesson, lesson with an adjective that describes it, so then we look at easy, which is the immediate word that comes after N, after the article, and because it starts with E, which is a vowel sound, I used N, okay? An interesting class, okay, an interesting class. Class is a singular noun. If I had just a class, I would use a class. But because I have an interesting in between, which starts with a vowel sound, I used N, okay? So this is what I mean by this last rule, okay? Now, A and N are used only with singular countable nouns. This is something I mentioned a bit earlier in this video, and I repeat it again. We use A and N only with singular countable nouns. When I say singular countable nouns, I mean the nouns that we can count and talk about them in terms of numbers. Like, for example, one student, two students, three students, etc. One car, two cars, three cars, one city, two cities, three cities, four cities, etc. Now, these nouns are countable. We call them countable nouns simply because we can count them, okay? But we have other kinds of nouns which are uncountable. We don't count them. We can't count them, okay? For example, air, air. I breathe air. You can say I breathe 2 airs a day or 5 airs a day or something like that, okay? So these are uncountable nouns. Water, for example. You can say I drink 7 waters a day, okay? So water is uncountable. Of course, for these uncountable nouns, we have other units of measurements, okay? We have other units of measurements, like, for example, liter, a liter of water, or a kilogram of meat, etc. But we don't use numbers to refer to them. Karim lives in an apartment. Apartment is a countable singular noun. That's why we had an apartment, okay? Morocco is a developing country. Country, again, is a singular countable noun. One country, two countries, three countries, etc. I have a sister and a brother. One sister, two sisters, three sisters, so countable noun. A brother, one brother, two brothers, etc. But here we have uncountable nouns like I drink water. You should not use I drink a water. The water is singular, but it is uncountable, okay? So you say I drink water in the morning. The doctor told her not to eat meat. You shouldn't say the doctor told her not to eat a meat, right? So never use a and n with uncountable singular nouns. Never, never. All right, so this is all about the articles a and n, briefly. And here I have some worksheets for you. Of course, I'm going to post them on Moodle and on Google Classroom so that you can download them and print them out and probably work at home at your pace and comfort, okay? So please try to download them. I'll post them immediately after I post this video. You have here the first example, fill with a, n, or some. Of course, we didn't see some before, but what is important is the use of a and n. Okay, so use a and n correctly in the blanks. In all of these exercises here, you've got like 50 sentences or more. All right. In the second example, or on the second worksheet, you've got pictures of different items. So identify the item first and then give it an article, right? For example, here we have house. House is a countable singular noun, so we say a house, okay? Here we have an acorn or an oak fruit. So it is also singular countable and it starts with a vowel sound. So we say an acorn or an oak fruit. Here we have a snail. So S is a consonant sound or S is a consonant sound. So we use a snail, etc., etc. So if you don't know an item here, try to research it and use it in the singular form with an article, right? Great. Now we come to the definite article the. The use of the before a noun shows that what is being referred to is already known to the speaker. So it's quite the opposite of a and n. A and n, we use them when the noun that we are referring to is unidentified or unknown to the speaker. But the, we use it when the noun we are referring to is known to the speaker. Okay, we know what we are talking about. Let me give you examples. Where did we park the car? Where did we park the car? So here we used the with the car, because the speaker and the listener know exactly what car they are talking about. Okay, maybe their car. Okay. We had to paint the apartment before we sold it. We had to paint the apartment before we sold it. Now here we said the apartment because the speaker knows which apartment and the listener also knows which apartment. So the apartment is known to both the speaker and the listener. That's why they used the. Now in this diagram here, I have most of the common uses of the article the. Of course, we have more specific uses, right? But these are the most common ones. I posted the course booklet on Moodle, so please try to download it and take a look at articles. I have more specific uses of the, but here we have the most common ones, okay? I'm going to read them quickly. So we use the with ordinal numbers. What do you mean by ordinal numbers? Ordinal numbers are the opposite of cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are the ones we use to count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. These are cardinal numbers. But ordinal numbers are the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the sixth, the fifth, the sixth, etc. Ordinal numbers, we use them to order things, okay? To order things or to classify things and people and objects according to their order. Let me give you an example. Hisham al-Garrouj came the first. All right? Hisham al-Garrouj came the first. X, I don't know any, I don't remember any athletes' names now. X came the second. Y came the third. So here we are putting the athletes according to their order of arrival to the finish line, okay? Countries or places where the name refers to a group of islands or states. Okay, we use the with countries, okay, or places where the name refers to a group of states or islands. When we talk about the United States, what is the United States? The United States is a country that is made up of different 52 states united, okay? So we say the United States of America. The United Arab Emirates. What is the United Arab Emirates? It's a group of emirates united together under one flag. So we say the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, the United Kingdom or the UK. Islands, like for example the Maldives. The Maldives is a country, but it is made up of a group of islands, okay? The Marshall Islands, it's the same thing. It's a country in which there are several islands. What else? The Comoros Islands, okay? The Comoros Islands. So when you have a country that is made up of a group of islands, okay, we use the with the name of that country. We also use the with countries that have plural names, like the Philippines and the Netherlands. So the Philippines here, it's not a group of states, it's not a group of islands, but still we use the. That's how it is, okay? That's how it is. It is a country referred to in the plural form. So countries referred to in the plural, okay, we use the with them. The Philippines, the Netherlands. Superlatives. What do you mean by superlatives? We have comparatives and superlatives. Comparatives are sentences in which we compare between one thing and another thing, or one person and another person, or one object and another object. Like for example, today is colder than yesterday. So here I'm comparing today to yesterday in terms of coldness, and I say today is colder than yesterday. This is a comparative sentence. Muhammad is taller than Ali. This is a comparative sentence. Layla is more intelligent than her sister. So here it's a comparative sentence. We compare one person to one other person, or one thing to another thing, etc. But a superlative sentence is a sentence in which you compare one person to a group of other people. Okay? Like for example, Yunus is the most intelligent student in class. So here I'm comparing Yunus to everyone else in the class. Okay? So in such sentences, in such superlative sentences, we should use the with the adjective, okay, and its superlative form. The tallest, the strangest, the most important, the most beautiful, the coldest, the hottest, the nicest, etc. Now these superlative forms, whether they are short or long, we should use the with them. Decades. What do you mean by decades? A decade is 10 years. 10 years is a decade. So the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, right? So we use the with the decades. When there is only one in the world, these are called unique nouns. Unique nouns are nouns that that we have only one of its kind, like the internet. The internet. We have only one internet in the world, so we always use the internet. Okay, we use the with the internet, and we say the internet. The moon, there's only one moon, so we say the moon. The environment, we have only one environment, so we say the environment. These are unique names, right? So with unique names, we use the. To refer to the only one in this particular area, okay, if there is something that is only one in that particular area, like for example the police department, we have only one police department. The government, of Morocco. In Morocco, we have only one government. So we say the government, okay? To refer to the, okay, that's mentioned. Adjectives to refer to a whole group of people. Adjectives to refer to a whole group of people. Like, for example, the French. When I say the French, I refer to all the French people. When I say the jobless, I refer to all the people who are jobless. When I say the homeless, I refer to all the people who are homeless, the Moroccans, okay, the poor, the rich. So with these adjectives that refer to a group of people, we use the article the, okay? Names of geographical areas. Names of geographical areas, like for example the Alps, the Atlas Mountains, the Rif, the Nile, the Mississippi, okay, the Himalayas, okay. So these geographical places, we use the with them. Please take a look again at the booklet that I sent you, that I posted on Moodle, because I have more specific uses of the article the as far as geographical places are concerned. And then musical instrument, the piano, the violin, the guitar. She plays the guitar very well. He loves the piano, okay? So generally, these are the most common cases in which we use the article the. Now, unlike a and n, the definite article the can be used with singular and plural nouns. We said that a and n, we use them only with singular countable nouns. We use the article the with singular countable nouns, plural countable nouns, and with singular and countable nouns. So the is used with all kinds of nouns, okay? Whether they are plural or singular, countable or uncountable, okay? The man standing there is a lawyer. Look at the children. They are happy. So here the man is singular, but here the children are plural, okay? The children, the word children is plural. So again, we use the article the with all kinds of nouns. Now, how do we pronounce the? I think I mentioned at the beginning that the pronunciation of the article the differs depending on the word that comes after it. Sometimes we pronounce it the, sometimes we pronounce it the. So we pronounce it the if the word that comes after it starts with a vowel sound. If the word that comes after the starts with a vowel sound, then we pronounce it the. So we say the exit, the apple, the orange, the American dream, okay? But if the word that comes after the starts with a consonant sound, then we pronounce it the. We say the team, the union, the house, okay? But the album, because album starts with a vowel sound. So I think it's quite clear, it's very clear as far as the pronunciation of the article the is concerned. Now here again, I have a few exercises that I want you to do at home. Use the article a, n, the, or zero article. Sometimes no article is required, and in this case you use the zero article, right? So you have a lot of, you have like 35 sentences here that you need to complete. In this worksheet here, put the where necessary. Sometimes it's not necessary, so you leave it blank or just put the zero article. Put a or n where necessary. The same thing. Use a or n where necessary. Otherwise, just use the zero article. Write the sentences in the singular. So here we have sentences in the plural. Write them in the singular form. Let me give you an example. There are flowers on the table. So here there are flowers, right? Many flowers. So if you want to turn it into the singular form, we'll say there is. We change the verb to be from are to is. We say there is a flower, a flower. Okay, so we use the article a with the word flower in the singular form. There is a flower on the table. So do the same with the other examples. In this exercise here, find the articles in the text and explain their using, right? We have many articles used in the text here, so justify their use. Why should we use a, for example, in a certain place? Why should we use n in another place? Okay, and so on and so on. In this exercise here, the last exercise, find the mistakes. There are articles used in a wrong way, so find them and correct them. And here, use a, an, or the. Alright, so of course I'm going to post these exercises as worksheets. I'm going to post them as documents on Moodle so that you can download them and print them out and work at your pace at home. So try to join the Moodle platform and Google Classroom as soon as possible. I mean, it's very important. That's the only way we can be in touch, teacher and students, on a daily basis, and that's the only way we can share things in a flexible and smooth way, right? So if you have any questions, right, if you have any questions or would like to ask about anything in this video, something probably that you didn't understand, or something that I have probably explained quickly and you missed grasping it, please let me know and post questions on Moodle or on Google Classroom, and we'll be happy to respond. This video will also be posted on my YouTube channel, but I recommend that you join the Moodle and the Google Classroom because I can post materials, I can post documents and worksheets on YouTube, okay? I can post only videos. That's why it's on Google Classroom and Moodle where I can post materials that you can download, right? So please join as soon as possible. All right, so I come to the end of this video. I say thank you very much for watching and for your attention, and see you with another video coming up soon. Thank you.